What I'm trying to describe here during these 20 minutes is the way we do the mental health service work in Western Lapland, Finland. So my name is Kurtti. I have been working there 12 years now. I'm a psychiatric nurse and a family therapist. Long story shortly, in the beginning of 80s there was a group of people working in Keropudas, and they were having this feeling of discomfort about the things they were doing. So first things they wanted to change was this, that because in those times there was this the staff members were talking about the patients in the staff room, and they were making decisions about the treatment and medication and so on. And so someone went to Mikko's room and told him that yes, we have decided that you are going to be here 3 next months and so on and so on. So they made this decision that they are not going to make decisions without people being present. And so they started to have treatment meetings. And so from there became this idea to do research. It was in the beginning of 90s, there was this ODAP project. In that project there was people suffering from first episode psychosis, and the aim was avoid the hospitalization and avoid neuroleptic use. Treat people in their homes with teams and using anxiolytics when it was needed in a crisis situation. And as a result, it was so that 80% from these people came back to work in their studies, and 30% had been using neuroleptic medications. So this led to these principles, these experiences that the staff members had and the people who were using the services had, because still we are all the time asking from people, is this helping? Okay, let's do it this way. Is this helping? No. So we are flexible, and the need adaptiveness is a really important word. That is a kind of umbrella over all of these principles. And Andrew, you are here as well.
I am, yes.
Would you like to say?
I followed you.
Yes?
Yes.
Would you like to say a few words while you are here?
Yes. Good afternoon. My name's Andrew Viggen. I'm a clinical psychologist working in Cardiff, and I had the fortune to join Mia and her team for a week in Finland last week. And when we were talking, I found out that Mia was coming to Wales, so I thought it might be a good idea to join her to talk about a little bit about my experiences. We're also doing the workshop in the afternoon, and we'll talk a bit more about it. But Mia doesn't understand Scottish accents. In fact, no one in Finland does, so we might have to translate when we're talking. Do you understand it?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. But okay, whenever you feel, interrupt me and say something. Yeah, okay. So these are the 7 principles. I'm so worried about the time, but immediate help. Anyone can call to our services. It's number for 24/7. Usually in Finland you have to have a referral from the primary healthcare system to get services from the special healthcare district. But this is different in our area, so you can really call. Teacher can call, moms, dads, whoever is concerned. And in that phone call we are asking questions that who knows about your situation, who else is also concerned, would it be helpful to invite this person to the first meeting, etc. Where should we meet? Home, school, polyclinic, wherever. And this social network perspective, that it is a belief that people have the answers within them, and they really come from their context, the context where they are living in. So we are encouraging people to take their family members with them. Flexibility and mobility. This is the idea that we are trying to be need adapted. As Pat was talking in the morning, and Penny also said that, do professionals have this idea that I know what's wrong with you? And we have this saying in Finland that we are trying to put the snake into a bottle, that we are trying to, we make that kind of questions that we are hoping to have certain kind of answers. So flexibility and need adaptedness means that we are in this moment and we are exploring things together. Responsibility, because we work as a team, there's usually 2 members in a treatment team, and in psychotic situations 3 persons. So we can ask from each other that, why did you have that question? What makes you think that way? So it will be visible for the clients and for the family what goes on in our heads when we are sitting there. Psychological continuity, and this is also what I would describe as emotional continuity, because we are going through situations together. It isn't so that we are doing something to you. We are there together, and they are really, really transformative processes for all of us, for the workers and for the people who come to us. Tolerance of uncertainty, so that we have studied, we have learned, we have all these diagnosis ideas and so on, but we can't know. We can't know what is in other people's heads and what is good for them. We just can't know that, and that is something that it's really difficult to bear sometimes. And dialogism, that is another umbrella that goes through every principle. You have something, comment?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. When you were talking there about that you can't know, I was I was taken back to being in a meeting that I had privilege to join, and I had the same feeling actually, which is a kind of feeling of humility. And being with people that are really trying to understand what's going on, but sitting with this on this border of that you can't know really what to do, or you can't know what's going to, but you might find some way forward, whatever that might be. So that, I mean, partly is that what you mean by a tolerance of uncertainty? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and willingness to explore, instead of giving certain kind of solutions right away.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I took this uncertainty here because this is the most important thing, the heart of the dialogue. And what Pat was saying also, that we as a workers, our task is facilitate time and space for whatever emerges. And being aware that you don't know, that is really important. And teamwork, because when you work alone, you have more pressure to know. But when we work together, we have the possibilities to reflect and ponder about things and ideas. And this is something that the people who are using our services, because all the time we are asking from them, as I said, that is this working? Could we do something better, and so on. This is one thing that people are saying, the psychological continuity is really, really important, so that they don't have to tell again and again their story to new people, that the same team all the time in that process. And if we decide that everything is okay now, they don't want to meet anymore, they can call maybe next year again to my telephone, and then we will start to see again. And here is a motto, I like this very much. How could I talk in a way that increases others' desire to listen? And how could I listen in a way that increases others' desire to talk? So, Andrew, do you have something more?
I think I was a few months ago, before I came to the Open Dialogue workshops and before I came to visit you in Tornio, is that this is a very different way of working, and it sets up some challenges, lots of challenges at every level. I think from a service delivery level down to being in the room with someone. It's a very different way of working, and my challenge is not to be engaging with all the things that's wrong with the system as I see it, really, but trying to find an opening. Trying to find an opening in the way that I work to start to work with some of these principles. And I think a good place to start is the idea of not talking about people when they're not present. I think is a very powerful idea.
Okay.
But not without its challenges.
Yeah. But okay, thank you very much for listening.
Questions?
Just a comment.
Sorry, Maggie.
Oh, I wish with all my heart and soul that this had been available for me and my daughter with all my heart and soul. It's fantastic. And what you say about not talking about somebody when they're not there, that's radical. It's so simple, but we do it all the time. And as family members, we can do it as well, and that's very disempowering to talk about somebody when they're not there, unless you're doing it with love or you're doing it, but not in that way of what's wrong, and really, it's so disempowering. So thank you. I would love with all my heart and soul to see this widespread here.
Mia, I wondered if you... I recall the meetings in London that you talked a lot about the importance of understanding that what might be going on for somebody is located in their relationships. And I wonder if you say something more about why you think it's so important to bring together the person's network, and that the way that you work this treatment meeting involves everybody, not just the person who has the psychosis or the whatever it is that's going on for them.
Yes, the experience that when people are experiencing something, it is always related to their context, and it's always related to what has happened and with whom. So it would be funny to talk only with this one person. Well, not funny, of course we do that as well, because people want to have individual therapies as well, but meaning in a need-adapted way, because it is all in relationships, one way or another, and we would like to explore it together. That what can we find from here?
Hi Andrew, Dave Roberts.
Hiya.
Hello Dave.
You've obviously experienced the system in Cardiff for a number of years. You've obviously experienced a different system now in Finland. I'm just wondering from a sort of an organisational perspective, the differences that you noticed?
I don't know if we have time to actually. One of the first things that struck me, being in Finland and thinking about Cardiff or the UK, is that we've diversified so much in terms of specialisms and in terms of particularly adult services. So we have inpatient services, community mental health services, early intervention services, assertive outreach services, services for people with personality, a diagnosis of personality disorder.
I can see you taking your time there.
Okay. So one of the things that really struck me is that there's just one service in Western Lapland. That is the service. So they haven't diversified. They haven't specialised. So you've got a very skilled workforce that can work with a whole range of difficulties. But that needs adapted approach, I think, is quite crucial, because they're not sitting with a diagnosis. But they're not discounting the whole range of available treatment. So they would use medication sometimes. So it's anything that's available that might help. But the decision of what might help and the construction of it and the understanding of it is through the network meeting. So through the group that constitute to find out how to take things forward.
I have another question, sorry.
Hi there. I just wanted to know, when you mentioned a team, are there different professionals in that team, or does it not matter?
We have around 100 workers in our services.
Sorry, can I just clarify? When you said the team of 3 people that meets, does that need to be different professionals, or does it not matter?
So we have 100 people in our services, and about 70 of them are nurses, and 90% of our staff members have this family therapy open dialogue training. So usually it's 2 nurses who will start, and when it's needed, there is a psychologist and a social worker and a doctor who will come to be as a 3rd member of the team.
Hello, I just wondered how you might be, or if you might be able to adapt the process when you're dealing with someone who can't cope with more than one other person in the room. Don't you know if they have autistic spectrum or something like that?
Yes, this is the flexibility and need adaptiveness, this idea that of course everything comes from the client, what is helpful for her. And if we have ideas that this could be helpful also, and this, we will do the reflections. We don't say to you that, okay, I think next time you should do this. It's ideas that you can think about and feel about. Would that help me?
I wondered if you could just say something about how you measure your outcomes, because across the country here there are lots of targets and statistics, etc., etc. I just wondered if you measure outcomes in a different way, and if so, how do you do that?
Well, there is this first page, references for those researches, so I think you can maybe see those. So you can have, they are all in English. You can find out.
They're not measuring outcomes in any other, in a different way. Actually, it's about about recovery, about going back to work, hospital use, number of days in hospital. So, my understanding, it's not any different. You're interested in the same things, but maybe not as interested in some ways.
Yes, because also other way that how we evaluate the work we do is that we sometimes invite an outsider worker from our system who comes to the meeting, and he will ask questions from us workers and from the family, that how has it been, this journey for you? What could have been done differently? What has helped? What hasn't? And so on.
Sorry.
I'm assuming that the outcomes with your model or the way you work are better than elsewhere. Would that be true?
Elsewhere in Finland? Yes, at the moment, yes. And it's cheaper too.